guys, welcome back to another episode of Unreserved. My name is Parita, and today we'll be talking about cheaters and people who have been cheated on.
All right. Hi, my name is Josiah George. I'm 25 years old, and I'm both. I've been the cheater and I've been cheated on.
Are you currently in a relationship?
And I am not currently in a relationship.
Hi, my name is Lizanne. I'm 23 years old. I have been cheated on, and I am single.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Kevin, 26 years old. I was a victim of being cheated on. I have not been a cheater, and I am not in a relationship.
My name is Kevin as well. I'm 22 years old. I am single, and I have been both cheated, and I've been the cheater before.
I'm relieved I'm not the only one. All right, cool.
I got you.
Okay, so to start off, I wanted to talk about what cheating is and what it entails. So basically, cheating comes in many forms. There's forms of emotional cheating, mental cheating, physical cheating. Some may even say gaslighting, manipulation, hiding things from their partners are also sub-forms of cheating. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys consider cheating to be, and how would you define it?
I think it's gonna be like cheating for me, at least, is like something you gotta hide from your other partner, you know? If it's entertaining another female or male, whatever it is, right? Down to like hiding things because you think they don't like it, you know what I mean? Like, I know one of my friends said that when he watches adult films, his girl gets pissed, so he hides it away from her. Mm-hmm. Which I consider that's more like an argument, but she considers it cheating, so. I mean, I see where they're both at.
No, I definitely second that. Anything that you got to keep from your partner, keep it secret, not out in the open, should be considered cheating, you know? Mm-hmm. Whether it be hanging out, say your partner has a best friend and they go out to watch a movie, whether it be platonic or not, if you're keeping that from your significant other, there's a reason for that, and that would be considered cheating, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that most oftentimes you're going to hide something that you don't want to get caught with. So that whole idea of like, oh, I might get caught with this, I would also second is cheating.
When you emotionally protect your partner, okay, you do it with things like I personally actually don't believe that's a thing. You guys are a team if you're together. Mm-hmm. You guys are a couple, right? So as a team, maybe you understand where she's coming from, or like if she, like, to spare feelings, that makes no sense. Like, you should be able to talk to her, right? And be like, okay, this is what is happening, right? And then you explain in a way where if her feelings are hurt, right, you guys still partner, you guys can go through it together, right? I feel like that's an excuse to hide things.
I'll give you guys an example. So in my experience, I was dating this guy. He was best friends with a girl from work. And I had no issue with, that relationship. It was very honest, like, hey, this girl is my friend. You have nothing to worry about. And so I did not worry about it. I think that open communication was great until I found something on his phone, which told me otherwise. I saw, flirtatious emojis and, inappropriate, what I felt was inappropriate conversation that you would have with a close girlfriend. You don't say things like that to a close girlfriend or guy friend, joking or not, like there's a line that you should draw when you're in a relationship. And so I confronted him about it, and he was like, okay, you know what, she's just my friend, like I won't do that again, this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay, you know what, anytime you go and you hang out with her, like just let me know, just so I don't have to feel uncomfortable finding out. And then he started hiding it from me. So when he started hiding it from me, it was like, okay, but you told me this girl was your friend, right? So if that's the switch up, then that obviously is going to put something into my head to make me think that there was something more to it. And I think to answer your question, like that would be where that emotional manipulation kind of comes into play, where you're telling me one thing to make me believe that it's innocent or that you're not doing something that I don't like, but then you're going again and like lying to me about hanging out with your friend. So
to bounce off of your point where you said where you would draw the line, do you guys find one form of cheating to be worse than other forms of cheating?
100%.
I would arguably say emotional cheating is worse than physical cheating,
Can you
But that
define,
depends
Yeah,
on
can
people. That
emotional
depends on
cheating?
people, though.
right?
There's also that too. Like there's a nuance to how people perceive like intimacy. For example,
Yeah.
for you it might be an emotional thing. For somebody else it might be a physical thing.
Sure, like a one night stand, fine, that's awful. But a one night, or so say your partner cheats on you, it's a one night stand with a random other partner, fine, that's bad. But worse than that is they're carrying on with this other person. It's multiple occasions. They're talking back and forth. They're on the phone late at night, right?
I guess it's more
Entertaining.
understandable, right? That like, oh, you did something one night and
That's like
got
an
out of
honest
hand,
mistake.
whatever.
You're like a human if it's a one night thing. But if you keep on going,
Yeah.
that's
I also think people do
You're
it
doing
like
it intentionally
yeah,
Yeah.
at
yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that people like cheat to. I put this in like my answer when you guys did the call, but like I think people do it to test their own idea of their love, right? So they might go and cheat to say like, okay, I really love this person, but do I really? And see if they feel a connection with somebody else, or like it starts off with like a little flirt, and then you start texting, and then you're realizing, oh shit, I'm entertained. You continue to entertain, and then that becomes a problem because it's continuous. Then it's not just, oh, this.
But I feel
happened,
like that brings another topic into, because now like in today's society I kind of see that music videos, like just the whole general society kind of like entices you to in a way cheat once or twice, That, like if he's not going up to your standards, even if it's one or two times, leave him or cheat on him with his back, like it just. So I feel like I know where you're coming from, but the thing is I feel like that's more like a society thing,
Yeah.
So would you guys be more likely to forgive, or which forms of cheating would you guys be more likely to forgive and move past versus another? So emotional versus physical. Are you guys more likely to forgive someone or move past something because your partner cheated on you emotionally but not physically, vice versa?
if they had something going on for time,
Mm-hmm.
like a side man, and then they didn't talk about, like, that's completely like you did that unintentionally, right? If there was a one-time mistake or like honest mistakes here and there, which everybody makes, then I'll be like, okay, I completely understand. How can we talk and fix it so this doesn't happen as often? Like I might be, I know it sounds kind of toxic, but sometimes when another person cheats, sometimes it's not only their fault, it's also the other partner's fault.
So you would communicate openly with your partner, as in talk about something that maybe you would be doing that might be causing them to cheat,
Yeah.
or vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay. So bouncing off the emotions part of that, cheating has many emotional and mental, like short-term, long-term effects on an individual, and often individuals who have been cheated on find themselves wondering what they did wrong in the relationship for their partners to cheat. So when the cheating and being cheated on, what form of cheating took place? Would it be this is personal experiences that I've been talking about. So would it be emotional, mental, physical, and specifics? Would it be texting, sex, other physical interactions, even just having intentions of your partner cheating, flirting, etc.?
You're asking about like our experiences?
Yeah, your guys' experience,
okay.
if you guys are comfortable with.
Okay, yeah, sure. But not to get like into crazy specifics as to what happened. It was an instance where it was emotional and ended up physical. And when I found out, like obviously, like you don't want to stay in that situation. I feel like everyone should proactively get themselves outside of relationships like that and think about whether or not it's salvageable, in the sense that like, is there enough of you to go back to that individual, or do you need to start from scratch and build yourself up? And in my case, I felt like I need to start from scratch and get back to ground zero alone. So I feel like it's really nuanced. Like some people don't feel as though it matters so much, so that they can go back to that individual and give them another chance, or whatever the case is. So it really like depends on whoever.
Yeah, I think there's once that happens to you, once you've been cheated on, you're never the same ever again, even with that person, right? It's always there. It's always at the back of your mind. You can never look at them the same. The trust, it's almost impossible to break that
But
trust
that varies
back.
from person to person.
Yeah.
You know, when it happened to me, I was able to look past it because, like, you have feelings for somebody, right? You know, people say love is blind, so it makes you forget things. Because logic can be thrown out the window, you know? It makes you forget things that are clearly in front of your face, right?
To get like totally brutally honest with you guys, one thing that made being cheated on really easy to move past, it's gonna sound really awful, was I've been on both sides of the spectrum, right? I've been in, I guess you could say, sticky situations where, you know, I've compromised my relationship, I've gotten physical or intimate with somebody else who was other than my girlfriend, and in that moment it was great, but you wake up in the morning like, holy crap, you know, you still love her at the end of the day.
You
And
feel like shit.
when she made the same mistake, I was like, God damn, I've been in the exact same situation. It doesn't mean I love her any less, but at that moment, at that time, I made a mistake. It's interesting to see it from both sides of the spectrum.
So did your realization come that you made a mistake after you cheated or after she cheated?
You know, if you're the cheater in that moment and you keep it a secret, everything's fine and dandy, you have no idea how much it hurts until you get cheated on. You're like, holy crap, this destroys a person.
Yeah.
Also, she never knew.
Shouldn't find out till after.
So for those who have
Or until this video,
have-
maybe.
You guys can ask each other questions as well, by the way, if you want someone to expand.
So for those who have cheated, in the moment, piggybacking off what Josiah said, in the moment of cheating, did you guys enjoy it? Like, was it thrilling to you? Was it liberating and ego boosting? Like it was something to boost your ego with? Upsetting, guilt tripping? In the moment of and after as well.
It's purely, at least for me, right? Purely physical in the sense of it's when you're with somebody that you have feelings with, sex and everything gets elevated to a whole new level. But that doesn't mean normal sex isn't amazing as well, right? So for me, in that sense, it was purely like, okay, I'm about to have a blessed night.
One thing really interesting, I don't know if you guys watch TED Talks at all, but there's a TED Talks video titled, Why Do People Cheat? Right? And they did a scan of the human brain, and the same part of your brain that lights up when you do drugs such as cocaine is the same part of your brain that lights up when you cheat. It's natural within the human, the way we're built to want things that we cannot have, right? It releases a certain type of serotonin that gives you that rush, that thrill. As much as everyone might say, hey, I don't like cheating, you're wired for it, right? Everybody wants what they cannot have, and it's boiled down to very neat science.
I think you got to contextualize that a little bit better, because that example of it being an equivalent biological response to when you do drugs are only indicative to people who've ever done drugs and are addictive in nature. That
is true. They did mention that in the video.
Right. So to that extent, like, although it might be true, some people they might not, like, you might be going out with somebody who isn't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that dynamic of, cheating on a person like that, or being cheated, by an individual with that kind of tendency kind of changes the dynamic of the relationship, like how you can forgive or move away from somebody.
Very fair.
So Kevin, you said in the moment of when you were cheating, it was like the time of your life.
Not
So-
the time.
I know, I did. I wanted to ask you, was it a one-time event? Had it happened multiple times before or after that specific cheating took place? And how did you tell your partner this had happened? So because you said that it was a good time in the moment, did you admit to it right after, or did they find out? How did that play out?
Honestly, it was super complicated. I did not mention it to her. I didn't even have the time. It happened like right after, right? And everything kind of, Can you repeat that question?
Yeah. So you mentioned that while you had cheated, in the moment it was a fun time. So afterwards, how did you tell your partner that this had happened? Did you admit to it right away, or did you kind of
did.
wait, or did they find out somehow? And how did
Yeah.
that whole thing play out?
It was very complicated. I didn't tell her. She found out by herself. After she found out, and I said, hey, you know what? You're completely right. Sorry, you know. There wasn't anything I could have done to prevent it. That's wrong. There could have been things I could have done to prevent it. But the way I felt about it afterwards, it's like, I don't know if you guys ever feel like emptiness, like numb, you know? And I just hate that feeling. I was just numb. I was just like, what am I doing, you know?
So that's interesting because in one of my previous relationships, I had been cheated on. And that's exactly one of the feelings that I felt when I found out that my partner had cheated on me, was the feeling of emptiness and feeling numb. And ultimately, it was just out of I just felt so disrespected, in the sense where it was like, I can't believe that someone that I know, especially like someone that I have very strong feelings for, can stoop this low and make me feel empty inside. So with that being said, how those of you who have been cheated on, how did you find ways to reconcile that feeling? So if you guys went the extra mile to restore those relationships, or within your partner in your relationship, or coexist within yourself and that person. So an example for me was, I questioned my self-worth. I wasn't sure. It's like, oh, was it something that I did? Was I not giving enough in the relationship? Is that why my partner had to go out of his way to go to someone else to find that variable within another person that I was not able to give to him?
For me, I found out through the girl, and like, it was not expected. Like, I was not ready for that kind of information to be given to me. And I was in class too, and I like got the message on my phone, and I was like, oh my God, it's like, this cannot be true. Like, what is this? And I sat there thinking, like, he would never do that to me. Like, he's acting totally normal. Everything's fine. Like, this can't be true. And then, you know, I also felt that emptiness, that numbness, more like disbelief. Like, I just couldn't believe that this was the current climate of things. And I started blaming myself as well. I was like, okay, what am I not doing? What could I be doing better? What were the reasons, you know, that he wanted her and not me? And when it came down to it, and I sat down and I had the conversation with him, he just told me that he was scared and that he wasn't sure what he wanted and things like that. And I really, really, really loved him, and I really wanted to forgive him. And like you were saying before, you know, people make mistakes, and so I tried, but it was not the same. Like, you don't look at the person the same way until maybe like a couple months go by, or a couple years go by, whatever it is. Like, we were in a pretty long relationship, so it took me a couple of months, and every time I would, you know, ask him, oh, does she do this? Do I do that? Like, you start asking questions about yourself and this person that the person cheated on you with, and that constant comparison is so unhealthy, and you continue to be stuck in that cycle of, was it me or was it you? Was it me or was it you? And then you always continue to like distrust this person, right? And it took me a long time to forgive, but I never forgot. Like, I couldn't. So yeah.
So you went back with him?
Yeah, we stayed together for like 3 years.
And then what happened?
After this?
Yeah. But like, it happened pretty early on in our relationships, and I was like, okay, like, you went back to your ex. Like, you cheated on me with your ex. And I was already a little bit like intimidated, I guess, by them, because they were in a relationship for a pretty long time. And it was maybe like 6 months into our relationship. So I guess like that understanding of, okay, you're not going back to some random stranger, but you're going back to somebody that you're maybe familiar with. Like,
but wouldn't that affect you even more? You know, they were dating for a long time.
Yeah.
You know there was something there, an emotion.
Yeah, exactly. Like, to be honest, I don't I don't know how I had it in me, because even like till this day, like I'll still think about it, you know, from time to time, but I really saw something in him, and I really had a place for him in my heart. Like he made me feel really good and really special, and I felt like I got to know myself a lot more through someone like him, because he was not like, I guess, the typical person that I would date, or like, you know, he introduced me more to creativity and things like that, like places in my life that I felt like I was lacking. I felt like I got an answer for that. And when he went back to his ex, I told myself, okay, if I were to cheat on anyone, right, I know it's kind of bad, but I think it's better to know that, okay, at least you're cheating with somebody that you're familiar with. And like, there's a reason, there's more of a reason for you to say, okay, I'm doubting my feelings, so I'm going to go back to something that I'm familiar with to see if those feelings are still there, opposed to like going and doing something with like a random stranger. Because personally, I can't do that unless I'm drunk. So, you know, I can't do that and say, okay, like I have feelings for this person, because my feelings don't develop just like that, right? So, yeah.
Would you guys say that intoxication would be
It's no
somewhat?
excuse.
Count?
It's no excuse, right?
No excuse. Honestly, it depends though. There've been instances where I was single though, but I've been so intoxicated, and I'm like, I go up to the moment, I'm like, what the hell is going on? I didn't sign up for this, you know? Like in the sense of like, I'm not in the place where I'm supposed to be, you know? But at the end of the day, it shouldn't be an excuse.
Yeah. No,
And excusing to say like, you can't say, oh, I did this because I was drunk. If it was the other way around, like I know it happens to a lot of ladies, like if the guy or whoever it is takes advantage of that person, then that is different. You know, that's not your fault. You weren't in control of the situation. Somebody else took advantage of it, you know. But yeah, intoxication, anything of the sort should not be an excuse.
Yeah.
I think anything voluntary, like even if intoxication becomes a result of whatever it is, like that's a voluntary thing, like you're choosing to drink or putting yourself in XYZ position to be, you know, in something little freaky.
Yeah.
But like if it's decisions that like you're actively making and retroactively this is the result of that, like, you know, personally I'm not down for that, but some people might think otherwise because, you know, drinks
Yeah,
kind
some people think it's an excuse, right? They think, okay, like if I do get this drunk, or if I have been drinking and at least other people may have seen me drinking, right? Because usually you're not drinking by yourself, that other people can maybe back you up as well and say, oh, they were drunk, they were acting out, whatever it is, right?
The way I look at it is, I feel like I look at it like this: I'm a dude, and females have a very complex way of thinking. Guys is very straightforward, right? Very logical. I'm not saying you guys are not logical, by the way.
Ooh.
But I'm saying the way I look at it,
Cancel
is
culture.
if for some reason you were to go to court, would the judge budge for any of that? Like, oh man, I was drinking. No, you're a grown adult. That's why you're drinking. You should be responsible in the actions you're making, even when you're intoxicated. If you can't control your shit, then don't drink. Don't get intoxicated.
I feel like that also makes you question if they went in with the intentions of maybe potentially cheating that night that they were drinking, or if them being intoxicated was kind of like that final push for them to be like, okay, I'm just gonna do it now, right?
Yeah.
So, you brought up that you knew the girl had messaged you saying this is what happened. So I wanted to kind of piggyback off that with the idea of homewreckers. So for those of you who don't know, homewreckers are kind of the other person in the relationship, I would say, or the person that your partner had cheated on with. So I don't like using the term homewrecker, but for the sake of the conversation. So I found a tweet that actually said, quotations, unpopular opinion, the idea of homewreckers is completely misogynistic. The burden of loyalty falls solely on the people who are in a committed relationship and nobody else, period. So I wanted to ask your guys' stance on that. How do you guys feel about the term homewreckers and the people that your partners may have cheated on you with? Do you think it would be their fault? Do you think that they played a part in it? Do you think that they would have known?
I'm not even sure if she knew.
It depends on the person, because I had a best friend. She was a female as well, right? When I got into a relationship, she wanted me in the relationship with her. So she went above and beyond the extra mile to be like, oh, he came to my place, he did this, and I'm like, we were friends at the time, right? But she didn't intentionally to wreck anything that I had with anybody else, you know? So I feel like it is true. I like that term because there are people like that. And it's more often than you think, right? It depends on the person because
Not everyone is as nice.
yeah, and
Right.
you like
It's
to
like
think
you're-
everybody's
yeah,
that nice, you know?
that's
You like to think,
wrong.
okay, nobody has, everybody has the best interest of everybody, but it's completely
Not the
unrealistic.
case.
No.
I think you kind of tell when somebody like has the intent to be a wedge in like the relationship.
Some people can
that
be
you
very
have.
good at hiding it though.
Exactly.
Mm.
Right? But like for anybody in any kind of relationship, you like do have to think critically about, you know, someone you probably never heard of coming and giving you information or disseminating something that you've never heard. Like it could be a situation where they're trying to home wreck. But I think in a general sense, for most cases that like cheating's happened or occurred or whatever the case is, the other party, in my opinion, is completely absolved of whatever, because you still, as the individual in the relationship, have a responsibility to whoever it is that you're, you know, dating. So, you know, I couldn't look at Kevin, and whoever it is that I'm going out with and getting mad at this guy, like, nah, because at the end of the day, like, it's on her to be faithful or whatever the case is.
But what if
What
the guy she cheats on you with knows about you guys? What would you say to him? You wouldn't be
even
like,
worse.
yo, that's my girl. You knew that was my girl and you still went and did this? Like you wouldn't.
The way I see it, like, irregardless of whatever facts people know, it's you and whoever.
That is true, yeah.
It's still you and whoever at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
If you go outside of that and you initiate things, doesn't matter if I know you're dating somebody else.
Yeah, it's still
It's not
on the
my
person.
issue.
Yeah.
Or even if
That's
you
your
allow
That's your-
somebody
yeah.
to, you know, be initiative or take the initiative to,
Yeah.
you know,
Your
propose
allowance of
something
that
on
is still, I think, wrong.
No, definitely. If I knew somebody was with them, I'd be like, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
But still, there's people who aren't like that.
Yeah,
People
people
who don't
don't care. People don't care.
I mean, you know, there's the cliche saying, if just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score. But
Oh yeah, that's a banger.
Yeah, but to piggyback what off Kevin's saying, he's absolutely right. You're in a relationship with your partner. You know, a lot of guys, if their girlfriend cheats with another guy, they want to throw hands at that guy. What's the point?
But
So how do you guys, I feel like we all collectively agreed that you guys would be more mad at your partner for cheating versus the other person that was a part of
But it
it.
depends.
So
Because if the person's lying, which there are people who just lie to
Right.
wreck things, right? At the end of the day, the decision or everything should fall back into the partner. You guys should
Well,
talk
especially
about
if it's a
it.
homie, like especially if it's one of your friends or something like that. I would want them to also take accountability because you trusted that person as well, right? Even though
So-
the relationship might be different, like
So how do you guys feel about people who get mad at the other woman or man that
They're
they
dumb.
cheated on with?
Dummies, you're playing yourself.
I don't think the central focus should be on that third party, but like I said, like if it is one of your friends that did the partaking, then I do think that I would be upset or I would have a thing to say because like, yo, you broke my trust as well, like.
Well, that's not your friend. Right?
Yeah, clearly,
Right.
clearly. Thank God that has not happened. Yo, I pray for those people, because that would suck.
So there are many variables to cheating that people often do not think about. Second chances are often given to those who seek rehabilitation and change, and sometimes even through chance and forgiveness. So often people question their stance once the cheating takes place or is confronted about. So to the cheaters or to those who have cheated, a question that a lot of people tend to ask is, why didn't you just leave the relationship? Or why didn't you just, if you knew these were your intentions or this is what you were thinking about, why didn't you guys just exit from the relationship because you knew that maybe this would have happened, maybe it wouldn't happen, but I'm having those intentions already.
Because more times, that's not your intention. You have, like, if you care about something, when I cheated, right? My intentions were never to do that. My intentions were never to hurt the other person. That wasn't what I was thinking. Going into a relationship and anything. Obviously, I took responsibility for it. It's an unfortunate event, but that wasn't my intention. A lot of people did ask me, why don't you just break up with her? Man, it wasn't
So
like
what
that.
led you to cheat then? You're saying like it
I
wasn't
think
your...
as single people, like we can acknowledge sometimes, like, yo, people just fall in your lap. And
Well, yeah.
whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to believe that when you're in a relationship, sometimes people fall in your lap and whatever happens, happens.
That's exactly what happened.
You see?
But hear me out. But that's exactly what happened. I've had the strength before to say no. I've said it many times. But there was something about that day which I don't know what was going through my mind. Honestly, it's more like a blur. I was pissed for some reason. I'm never angry. And I don't know what happened. And then the next thing I knew, I did the deed. I felt like crap. I was like, man, I'm empty. Like, this is ridiculous. And then before I can, like, collect my thoughts or anything, she had already found out. And then that was the end of that, right? So you go into it not thinking I'm gonna hurt the other person there. Oh, they're terrible, I'm gonna hurt them. You don't think about it like that.
Right.
You think about it in the sense of, like,
Do you
it
think you're
was,
gonna
it
get
was
away
a
with it?
selfish
You
thing
didn't
to do.
think, right.
It was a me thing to do, you know? And like you weren't involved at all, but it did affect you, nonetheless.
At the beginning, you said that you did it because it was like strictly physical, whatever.
Yeah.
But listening to you now, it sounds as though it might have been like an emotional response or maybe a lack of an emotional thing.
I was thinking about that too, but I said it was a strictly like physical thing, like it's a whatever thing. Because
Well, maybe
I
because you
don't,
weren't like
I don't,
feeling for that person in that kind of way.
maybe I was thinking about that too, right? But like I said, it was a physical thing because I never act on my emotions, and this wasn't the first time I acted on my emotions. They just happened to be like that, you know. You kind of like added on to the fact where I was like, you know what, she's on my lap, we're there, you know. Today's gonna be a good night.
So you mentioned that sometimes there isn't a reason for someone to cheat, and sometimes it just happens. The experience just falls on your lap, and you kind of just take it as it goes. So what are some reasons as to why someone may cheat, or what do you guys feel that why someone would cheat on someone else?
Like Kevin said, sometimes act in your emotions.
Sometimes someone falls in your lap, right?
Yo,
Yeah.
it could be either or.
Yeah.
Right?
It could be either or.
You know, if someone's really attractive, they're up in your face, they're throwing themselves at you. You know, you could say no a couple of times, but maybe the third time's a yes.
I think
But that depends
insecurity.
on how you like the person.
It's
Because
true.
I've experienced it where when you really like somebody, you're like, holy, she's the hottest girl in the entire world
Absolutely.
right now. But that's different, right?
Sometimes alcohol has a big factor in it. Alcohol or other, variable drugs plays a big part in it. Not that, again, not saying it's an excuse, but
Also, another
More times
factor
than
of
not.
cheating is like that person cheated as well, which should never be an excuse. Still cheating at the end of the day.
Kind of like getting revenge on someone.
Exactly. That's acting
The
on your
intention of getting
emotions.
revenge. Yep.
Yeah.
if they did it, why can't you?
I think insecurity is a big one. Like just maybe being insecure in yourself or
And that's
your
what you're protecting.
relationship.
Yeah.
Or like you think you could do better, so you go and seek better without wanting to like end the relationship in case you don't find better. You know?
Or a lot of people see it as like it boosts their ego that hey,
I can
I
get
already
this person.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm already in a relationship with this like hot ass person, but there's like 10 other girls or 10 other guys waiting in line as well. That maybe I can get it too.
Especially if that person's not treating you right. You can also, I guess, threaten in a way of like, I don't, you're not serving me right now, but I have all these other people who can and can do so in other ways that you're not adding up to.
I think like even at a really base level, even before we get into like respective relationships with people, interpersonal relationships with other people as we're like, going through life and growing up, I've noticed that, people who get involved, some more often than not, who get themselves involved, cheating on somebody else, sometimes have a hard time or haven't had the opportunity to see how like functional relationships work from a young age. So like compartmentalizing how to be a good person to someone that's supposed to be, their significant other, their better half, is like a challenge or it's a battle. And it's especially like even more so difficult when they kind of just jump into a relationship really quickly,
Yeah.
as opposed to building something up like over time. Like some people just agree to date and then, they're trying to figure out how to be good.
It seems like that's the dating culture now, though. People don't really take time to get to know you. They rather have sex first and then build a relationship off of that, right?
Or a lot of people expect like the quote unquote talking stage, as I don't like to call it talking stage because it's dating. But a lot of people like to jump from the talking stage to no, there's a difference.
You're dealing. Like, it's
No,
different levels.
I hate those terms because you're dating, you're getting to know someone.
No,
That's
no,
dating.
I don't think
and
so.
then, and then there's,
I-
and then
yeah,
there's
you're
dating
taking it very
exclusively.
literal.
And then there's dating exclusively, which is how I see it.
Tips is tips.
There's people that, I mean, I'm kind of like this, which is mad toxic. I'm working on it. But it's kind of like you're getting a car and like you're accelerating slowly. So you go into a relationship, but you're not really you're there, but you
Maybe
just,
you're ready for it.
but you're like slowly getting into a relationship and you're slowly cutting things out of your life while you're building this relationship, which is toxic because some people can see it as cheating.
So let's, on that topic, so say you are having, consistent sex with someone, you guys, you've met the family, there's no title on it. If you sleep around during this stage or you get emotionally or physically intimate with someone, is that still considered cheating?
If you're
Nah,
meeting
the
my
talking
family,
stage?
no, if you're meeting my
No.
family, that's like pretty big.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's I agree.
That's,
Okay.
that's like
Let's
different
take
for everyone.
that out of
Take
the
that
factor.
out.
That's
Take that
different
out of
for
the
everyone.
factor.
Okay, let's drop the family part.
Really?
I agree with you.
You're
You don't
having
think, like, bringing
My
your-
family's super outgoing. So like me just FaceTiming somebody, they're like, hey, what's
Okay,
up?
but that's different.
It's like depends on which family it is. My family is very involved with me in the sense of they'll call me. I'll be like, yo, I'm with so and so, and they'll be like, oh, give my best to all of them.
Okay.
So that is different from everybody because sometimes it might not be like, oh, it's my parents, you can't meet them and this and that. Some cultures are different, some parents are more relaxed than
Yeah,
others.
yeah. You're right.
So let's break it down more simply then. You're having consistent sex with someone, you guys are going on dates, there's no title on it. Would you guys, as individuals, consider it cheating if you were to get physically intimate with somebody else during
How
this
long
phase?
Yeah,
Let's-
for me personally, it kind of.
Let's say a couple of
I think
weeks.
you have to like.
I don't
No,
know.
that's not cheating.
That's
That's
not-
not
I think
cheating.
you guys
the
have to
length
be-
of it matters.
If it's a couple of months and what stage we are within the relationship, then yes, I would consider it
Y'all
cheating.
need to communicate better to your
Yes.
partners.
So,
Yeah.
but
That
if
needs
you're,
to be-
so let's say you're in this
Partner.
stage and your partner does that to you, right? This person that you're consistently having sex with sleeps with somebody else. Would that not hurt you in some
you
way,
can-
shape, or
you
form?
can
At the
be
time, because you said a few weeks, I would sit down and say, I understand you had sex with somebody else. So, because you went above that amount or you crossed that line, then we gotta talk. What is this?
Yeah, like what
Right?
are we? What is
What
Because
are
it?
your
if it's not,
intentions?
then say no more. I
But
can
you
go
could
text somebody
also-
else just now.
Yeah.
You could also still be, I guess, like friends with benefits, even though I don't want to use that term because you want to be more
The
than
thing
friends
is-
potentially, maybe, I don't know.
But the thing is, friends with benefits, I've had it before. And if it's very clear from the very beginning.
Okay.
There's
So
nothing.
it-
Obviously, if somebody always gets hurt, that's very true. But it's very clear from the very beginning. From not just the mood, but you guys stalk him. You know?
Okay, so what if me and you hook up? Okay, we hook up one time, whatever, it's not a big deal. And then you go and hook up. You guys hook up. Now, would you get mad at me if I went and hooked up with someone?
But you
But
can't
that
be
was a
asking me
one-time
that.
hookup.
What if
That's
we
a-
hook up more than once then?
That has happened. So
I
I'm
wouldn't get
very
mad. Personally, I
unattached.
wouldn't get
I'm
mad.
very unattached when it comes. I'm very unattached.
Yeah,
Period.
like I wouldn't get
So I wouldn't
mad.
care. I'll just
I
be
would-
like, oh hey,
I'd just be like, okay, so
Have you
like
two
we're
met?
not serious or like we're not doing this again. I would assume it as that if you found someone else to go and smash. Like I don't know.
I want to know what Josiah thinks.
He's like deviating his thoughts in his head, like.
I think it boils down to each person, right? Some people are possessive. If you're having sex with one person, you know what? I'll be honest with the camera. I, as an individual, I feel like I can get away with having sex with multiple partners. But if one of those partners were to have sex with somebody else, I'd be like, nah, that ain't it,
But
chief.
why is
That
that?
is-
Why is that if you didn't have the intention to be with that person more long term than just having sex with them?
It's more
So
like a
why would you
personality
get
trait.
mad?
Yeah, it just boils down to maybe being a little psychotic, psychopathic, maybe.
Somebody has to be toxic in the
Does
relationship.
that, do you think that maybe stems from insecurity that like you find you get an ego boost from getting all these women, but the second one of those women finds another man, like is that kind of like an insecurity in the sense where it's like, well, maybe like I don't want that guy to be better than me?
Yeah, I think it would boil down to something along those lines. Yeah.
Well, everyone has like different attachment styles, right? Like,
Very true.
right? I think it really stems from, at least like this is what I've learned, like it stems from childhood. Like you seek a partner that you may not have gotten when you were, a kid. So you seek that kind of intimate relationship as you grow older. So maybe you feel like you can have all of these partners or sexual partners, but when it comes down to having something intimate, you can't have that like come back on to you.
Yeah, intimacy is scary. Side question, I think also almost very relevant to what we were saying earlier. Kevin said that when you're in love with someone, you find that person the most beautiful person in the world, right? Nobody else is as attractive. You guys as individuals, would you say you've been in that position where you've been absolutely smitten head over heels in love that you would not cheat on that person?
Yes.
Yes.
Why
I
you
mean,
say
not-
that so
not like- not
sadly?
like in love.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean,
Sorry,
Yeah.
honestly, he really pisses me off. Like,
Yeah,
why
but
did you
not,
do
not
that to
for
me?
that like reason.
No,
because
but-
like I can acknowledge a beautiful human being.
Yeah.
Like I should be able to like we're all people at the end of the day.
You
Like,
can't.
aesthetics matter, but like you guys are saying, there's a deeper connection that you have with that person, where like you breed a loyalty and a devotion to them. That part is true, but I don't think I would say like they're the most beautifulest person
But
ever.
are you talking like physicality?
Just in general, like you love
It's
that
like,
person enough
I,
that
Like, I
I
feel
felt
like
like
I had
I
to-
was like head over heels for.
Yeah, I feel like I have
You
to
know?
like extend on that because you said that.
Mm.
When I say just because I have eyes for one person, does not mean I don't find other people attractive.
Mm.
It's just there's no, I don't like when you see somebody attractive, you're like, holy, she's sweet. There isn't that push inside of you. There isn't any of that.
I used to do that like with my partner. I felt like that kind of connection of being able to both call out someone who's attractive together was a lot easier than like doing that by myself because it didn't feel
Genuine.
bad or like
Mm.
yeah, we could both appreciate pretty people and that was fine.
That's very true.
yeah.
Mm.
So do you guys think you can be in love with your partner and cheat on them?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
In love.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
People make mistakes.
Do you
don't
guys
know-
think your partners loved you equally after you guys were cheated on, right? How did you feel about the love that your partner gave you during that moment and thereafter?
I feel
Did you
like
not think they loved you?
I feel like that depends on what dynamic, what the dynamic of the relationship was at the time. Was it toxic? Was it a healthy relationship and they cheated on me? What was the case? What their reasoning was as to why it happened? But I personally do not believe that you can be head over heels in love with someone and
I don't think-
and be able to cheat on them or even remotely think of the fact of being with another person.
I don't think we should normalize that.
It's not normalized.
I think it is because you
just-
go into any relationship, at least for me, I go into any relationship and if somebody cheats on me, it's kind of like, okay, like it's kind of bound to happen. Like you think it's normal or it's okay or like it's happened to so many people or it's happened to you in the past. And like after getting out of these relationships, I think to myself, like I don't want to be married for 50, 60 years and know that this person has cheated on me, even if it's one time. It will always be in the back of my head. If we're fighting, if things go south, if things go bad, whatever it is, I think something like that, you will always have some little doubt in your head. So I do agree with you, and I don't want, at least personally for me, I don't want to be in love with somebody who has cheated on me. I don't want to accept it.
But that's
Again.
you talking out of logic. And what you gotta understand is we can't talk logical when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships like that. Because it's completely unrealistic for you to be head over heels with somebody
But it
for
shouldn't
50 years.
It
It's
shouldn't
impossible.
be no, it
You're
shouldn't
gonna
be
be
unrealistic.
toxic at
It
least
shouldn't
one of
be-
those 50 years.
It shouldn't be unrealistic though to believe that someone is not going to cheat on you.
Oh, I
Like, do you
never
know what
said
I
that. I
mean?
never
Like-
said that. I said the possibility could be there, you know, because like I said, there's chances where people can honestly make mistakes. But that doesn't mean it will happen, you know? Just everything's honestly like very fragile when it comes to relationships, right? Any little thing can affect it on the long run or the short term, right? So I'm not trying to normalize and say it will happen one time in the relationship. I'm just saying the opportunity will be there.
But you're
for it.
saying if it, well, yeah, opportunity is always there, right? Opportunity will always be there. But I would rather be with a partner who is able to say no and say yes to me. And if he, she, whoever is unable to say yes to me and no to whoever it is, then like you can leave because I'm not having it anymore.
All right, so that being said, I totally get where you're coming from. I wouldn't marry somebody who's cheated on me personally at this point in my life. But would you, so we've already outed ourselves, we've been on both sides of the spectrum. Would you date someone who's cheated on someone, I'm gonna put us on the same pedestal right now, someone like Kevin and I who will, out loud say, we've been in love and we've cheated. Does that affect you wanting to be in a relationship with someone like us? Sorry if I dragged you into the
That's
bullshit.
okay. We're in this together.
Right? But you know what I mean? For both of you,
Yeah,
you might meet a girl who's cheated on her ex-boyfriend for 4 years. Maybe she cheated on him with you and you guys are together now. How does that affect your perspective?
From a previous relationship that when I had been cheated on, he actually disclosed to me before we got into a relationship that he had cheated on someone else in the past. And I like to give people chances in the sense where it's like, it may be different this time. Maybe he has learned, he's mature. He's a lot older now from when it happened. So I gave him the chance, like, yes, let's be in a relationship. And lo and behold, it had happened to me while we were in a relationship. So I think at this point in my life, if someone were to disclose to me, hey, I cheated on multiple partners, I think I would kind of have that open conversation with them, is like, why you did it, when did it happen, kind of get like the idea behind like what had happened, what the dynamic of the relationship was as to why they must have cheated, and then kind of put the decision on that. I don't think I would take a snap decision and just say, no, I would never cheat. No, I would never be in a relationship with someone who had cheated in the past before.
But like a lot of my friends, know, some of the people I know have cheated multiple times. And it's like stupid amounts. Like on one girl, they cheat like 5-6 times in the course of a year, right? And at that time I hadn't cheated and I was like, okay, why are you doing this? But me having done it and me seeing them, right, they completely changed, right? People can completely change whatever it is. They just need like a trigger to change, right? None of them, like I would say serial cheaters, right? Because they did it to more than one person. All of them completely changed their ways, right? I feel like in a way for some people, it's like a stage in their life, So I wouldn't base it off of that, like what you're saying, like speaking with the person. I'll base it on obviously communication
and who
and
they
where
are.
they're starting.
I would appreciate the honesty, like firsthand, like how he disclosed that to you. I think that honesty shows that you're at least making the first step of telling me, your past relationships or whatever, and having that transparency. I think that would help at least like trust whoever it is in the future.
So do you guys, to kind of wrap up, do you guys believe the statement of once a cheater, always a cheater? And would you agree or disagree with that? So me personally, I would disagree to that, but the previous relationship I had, I kind of agree with the statement that he will kind of always be like that. But I wanted to hear your guys' stance just to kind of wrap up the video.
To wrap up, if I had not been cheated on, probably. But until you experience what that feels like, I would never want to do that to somebody ever again. It's literally the worst feeling in the whole world. And if I'm in love and in a relationship, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be in the relationship. You know, it's a part of growing up. You said it. One of the Kevin said it. It's a stage in your life. You know, you kind of grow past it, but no, it's awful. It's awful, and I would not want to put somebody I care about through that ever.
I don't think that like once a cheater, always a cheater. At least I hope that people are not like that. And like as you were saying, you know, like
We'll be toast.
Yeah.
We'll be done.
Yeah, don't do it again, guys. Don't do it again.
Yeah. I completely
Learn from
agree.
your lesson.
Go ahead, Tom.
Honestly, I'm like neutral about that statement because it really depends on who it is that you're
Definitely
talking
agree.
to.
Yeah,
or dealing
I also
with.
think people like it's like people use the excuse as it's a cultural thing,
For sure.
right? So like maybe you have to just know how to navigate which space and where
Exactly.
based on people's like beliefs.
Shout out to the Trini people in the audience. Cultural thing.
So,
And I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, the whole dating thing is really incumbent on risk. Like, the most sure thing that you can be about human beings is how unpredictable we really are. Like, you're taking a chance with everything and everyone that you meet. So, it might be a good chance, it might be a bad chance.
I agree with you. I have to be neutral about it because it also depends. Like I know people who got money in 2 seconds, and then they went from being loyal, proper dudes to completely being trash human beings. Right? So there's a lot of factors that play in it. So a cheater always a cheater might be true for some people, but it might not be the same for others. You know, it just depends on the people's, I guess, self-strength.
yes, no, I agree with you as well. So what's the message that you guys would just quickly spur out to anyone in a relationship currently? Just
Don't do it.
about cheating, cheaters, if to people who have been cheated on.
Watch your back.
Don't do something you wouldn't want your partner to do to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Simple as that. Whether
That's
it be
a
as
good
little
one.
as hiding as hanging out with someone,
Yeah.
or as serious as, you know, making out or having sex with another person.
Open
Or leave
communication.
guy pointed
Hey,
at me. I was okay.
Think about how it'll make you feel.
yeah.
Okay. My name is Kevin. I'm 22 years old.
Okay.